And it is Veterans Day. Thank you, all you vets that have done so much for us and keeping us free and great liberties. We are so happy that you've joined us here at Studio Kitchen, Colorado today. Great Colorado companies, the Real Dill's here with us. What's happening, gentlemen?
Not much, man. How you doing today?
It's good to see you. We've got Tyler and Vincent here from the Real Dill. We're going to check back in with them. Great Colorado company, also Talbott is here with us. Talbott Farms and Talbot Cider. We're going to do a lot of stuff today, but right now I want Jay Parker to tell you about Aspen Baking, and then we'll do some news.
That is right, Aspen Baking, you guys. If you're a bread lover like I am, chefs, restaurant owners, if you don't have anywhere to go, you all love bread. We love bread. AspenBaking.com. Specifically, I'm a sourdough guy. On the show the other day, if you missed it, Jeff Nations was in studio, made some delicious sourdough bread. I'm telling you, AspenBaking.com. Chefs, if you don't have the wherewithal in your kitchen, but you still need delicious bread, it's AspenBaking.com. They're the ones doing it. They're the ones providing fresh bread for the city. I'm a bread lover. Can you tell I've had caffeine? But I also love bread. And when I love deeply. And when I deeply love, I love AspenBaking.com. Greg, I think that we are going to do some news. Is that correct?
Yeah, let's do a TME News Update. Thanks for joining us on the show today. TME News starts now. Cool. Thanks for joining us at Studio Kitchen, Colorado. And I have to tell you what, there's a couple of pieces that I wanted to highlight and focus on. And coming up in the news here shortly, we are going to talk to restaurant owners. We did a little news wrap, and restaurant owners, we're going to be talking about surviving this winter and facing a potential shutdown. That is real stuff, you guys. If you don't think that that's going to happen or the potential of it is going to happen, you got to think again, because what's going to happen here in the winter time could get really dark, could get really desperate, and without federal money infused, there could be some problems. So we'll talk about that with 4 restaurant owners. We have Troy Gard, and we have Jared Leonard, we have ANDREA FRIZZI, and we have...
Who's the last one? God, it's on my notes for you. HYATT.
Eric HYATT from ANGELO'S. In the meantime and in between time, a piece that I wanted to circle back around with, and that is the gray wolves being reintroduced into Colorado. And Nathan Rockwood from the Gray Wolf Resort, he gave us some great insights. Here they are. Here's Nathan. What do you think about reintroduction of the gray wolf, and how will it affect farming and ranching?
Just some personal opinions here. As a farmer and rancher, of course, this is my opinion, so don't take it for everyone. But what we have is an introduction of an apex predator, which means that there's nothing that hunts it. These wolves can get up to about 175 pounds. Of course, our resort's named after the gray wolf, so we're actually big fans of the animals. However, there are no native gray wolves in Colorado, so they're bringing in a Canadian subspecies, which could be very dangerous for the ecosystem. Also very dangerous potentially for our pets, our house pets, including our dogs, our cats, and possibly even our children if we're going for a walk in the forest. We've got a pack of 175-pound wolves that might be coming after us. Of course, farmers and ranchers also not very happy about the situation, as these wolves can likely hunt their cattle and other livestock. Enough of an issue already with coyotes in Colorado, but now, of course, we've got some wolves to deal with. So again, why do proponents want this to happen? Well, it was passed by, if you look at the mapping of the voting, by people in the urban areas. And of course, it was sold to them that this would be good for the ecosystem to move the elk herds. Other ways that could have been done, of course, could have been an increase in hunting permits. Could have been an introduction of a smaller subspecies of gray wolf closer to the Colorado native gray wolf instead of this much larger Canadian subspecies. But most importantly, all the money, all the funding for the introduction of these gray wolves does come from the Department of Wildlife, so that has to come through most likely an increase in the cost of tags for hunting. And so I expect to see a decline in hunting, which is going to increase the elk population. I think it's going to be counterproductive, in my personal opinion. And of course, now we also have to worry about wolves possibly hunting us, our families, or our dogs when we're out in nature hiking. And then, of course, farmers, ranchers afraid of their animals, their livestock being potentially eaten. Of course, they are supposed to be able to be paid back for that according to the law and the way it's written. But again, all that money has to come from somewhere, so likely an increase in the cost of hunting permits and tags. Overall, in my opinion, not a good thing for Colorado, for farmers, for ranchers, or for the urban city dwellers who voted in. This is just not a good idea.
And I thought that was a very interesting wrap there with Nathan Rockwood from Gray Wolf Resort. And again, a lover of the gray wolf, right?
Yeah.
But not so sure that should be reintroduced back into Colorado. And he talks about that subset of species. I think that's an interesting piece, but we'd love to have your opinion. Just comment on the stream today. What do you think about the reintroduction? Chances are you voted for it because it passed. And we'll see what happens here, but that's an interesting thing that we're going to follow here. That really affects a lot of the agriculture and ranchers and farmers, but I'd hate to see you know, it's hard enough keeping your livestock alive, but you don't need any help.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's already stories, and you know people that have dogs and pets that have been taken with other animals and stuff. So
Kids.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a real thing to consciously say, hey, let's bring some wolves from Canada and let's put them here. I mean, I don't know.
Surviving the winter, it's going to be a big topic, and we wanted to get ahead of it by talking to Eric HYATT from ANGELO'S, TAVERNA, ANDREA FRIZZI from POSTO, Jared Leonard, who has a great Stone Soup collective, and really just different models, and Troy Gard with fine dining. I'd like for you to take a look at this piece as we ask 4 questions. Each question asked to each one of the restaurant owners, and I think it's very interesting as you go from fast casual to fine dining, from pizza, a very different climate that folks are working through right here. But take a look at this piece as we set out on the streets to get feedback from restaurant owners who talk about surviving the winter and facing a potential shutdown. Here it is. Everybody asks the same 4 questions, and I think it's pretty interesting. Let us know what you think about this. What's your plan for your restaurant if there's another stay-at-home order? Here's their answer.
I do think that it's likely, the way that the virus is spreading at the moment. We are going to go to a 2-pod system. So we'll have our staff will be broken up into 2 different working groups. They'll work 4 days on and then have 4 days off. We're looking to do that. It means reduced hours. It also is our best option of trying to keep our staff safe. We're going to ramp up our to-go business if that occurs, and increase our family meals and that kind of thing for to-go.
If that happened, we did that before in March, April, May, and blah blah blah. Well, the plan is to go and cocktail in a can and prepare meal and all things like that. Hopefully it's not going to be a long one. Hopefully it's never going to happen, first of all. That's my hope.
It's a great question. We're working that out this week as we talk. But there definitely will be some tough decisions to make, maybe changing hours, maybe closing different days, or maybe closing all around. But it's definitely on our agenda to conquer this week.
What are we going to do if there's another stay-at-home order? Well, we're going to keep kicking butt, putting out good food, inspiring our staff and guests through our love for hospitality and comfort food. That's our mission statement for the group. Really, we just keep making sure that the expectations of our guests are being met, and not just with our dine-in service, but with our delivery. We spend a lot of time auditing user experience to make sure that the experience that you have come to love at our restaurants is then mimicked for our delivery platform. So custom packaging, online marketing is top-notch, our user experience, our app, all of that. So, we're just going to keep refining and working on the things that we do to make them work regardless of what's thrown at us, because that's what we do in restaurants, right?
All right, what is your outdoor dining plan for restaurants
We do have one
this
right
winter?
now with ANGELO'S on 6. We have 4 greenhouses installed on the back patio. They're all individually heated. They all have ventilation systems installed with them in the way of fans. So they're sanitized and sprayed with aerosol spray and then vented before new guests are sat inside them. They're lit up pretty well, and so far so good. The guests have been loving them. They've been a hit. They're really cool, and they seat up to 6 people in each one, which is, now the max number of people that we're allowed to seat starting tonight at the restaurant. So we have the greenhouses going. We do have our call ahead list too. If you call ahead on the way in, we'll add you to the bottom of the wait list. So when you get here, you'll be closer to the top. And we're also going to look at possibility of doing reservations too. We're not guaranteed on that yet.
We bought eaters outside, and we have an over cover for a patio on the east side, and so we have a few seats there and 25% inside. So we're gonna do what we can with that. For now, we're surviving. The weather's been clement to us. So.
What is my outdoor dining plan for your restaurant this winter? We really don't have one. We are not going to buy any tents. We're going to see what happens in November, December. It's a huge, obviously, cost to do that. And I wanted to kind of see what other people are doing and basically see what the guest wants. Do the guest really want to go sit in a tent when it's cold and snowy? And if they do, then that will answer our answers. I'd rather sit inside of a restaurant where I think it's cleaner and better air circulated, and it's a lot of money to spend on tents when we don't really know how they're going to work or not work. And most of them don't connect to the restaurant, so you have to walk outside the door into a tent. How do you open and close the tent, the cold air on the food, all that kind of fun stuff.
Next question, what are we going to do about outdoor eating area? Well, I've got a huge patio here at Campfire. And Colorado's lucky in that it's we've got a mild winter, but if it's cold, I'm not going to seat people outside. I'm not going to do anything different or order tents or any of that stuff. That's just not my thing.
Have you implemented anything unique or promotion?
We're going to bring back our $25 16-inch one-topping pizza and bottle of Carboy wine deal that we did during the shutdown last time, and it was a hit. It's a great deal. Get a bottle of wine and a pizza for $25 is huge. And especially it being Carboy wine, we're really happy that we can support our sister company there. We're going to promote our family meals as well to go, with our restaurant doing, pasta and salads and pizzas. We have great options for people that are feeding their family or their each other.
So, promotion, well, canned cocktail, we have the Italian style on the cocktail we might face on it, clearly. We have pies, we have, Ecran Parmigiana, Quattro Formaggi, we do all kinds of little things like that. And of course, our menu to go is right now still effective and available, and we're probably gonna create a couple of more opportunity, but again, hopefully it's not gonna happen.
Again, we're just trying to do the best we can day in and day out at the restaurants. Obviously, we're trying to drive takeout or DoorDash services, but it's really a moving target every day. But obviously, takeout is our big push, what we want to get through for fall and winter.
We're really focusing on making the to-go and delivery experience as good as what you get in the restaurant, and that's, takes time and effort and money, and that's really, I guess, what I would consider we're doing differently. Not really a promotion, but more of a focus. We're spending a lot of time auditing our user experience through our delivery and to-go platforms to make sure that you're as cared for and your experience is as great when you order through those third parties or directly through us, but for the food to go or delivery, that experience is just as good as when you dine in.
Does your restaurant need federal stimulus in order to
The answer is
survive
absolutely
the winter?
yes. This winter is going to be really hard, especially if we get shut down. If we do stay open, I don't think that we would have to look into that. But if we do get shut down, then it's a resounding, yeah, we would definitely need help with that. The payroll protection program really saved us when we were shut down, and I think that it would do the same again. So
clearly, if you shut me down without my fault, you should sustain me financially. That's always my point. My point is we have the right to take care of our employees and our people and make a living. Now, if you shut me down, you should give me a way to survive during that time. Clearly, a new PPP is necessary to go through the winter. We know these things is not going to go away right now. It's very necessary. Also, the city, it doesn't do much with that, and the state, of course, doesn't. So, state taxes, payroll taxes, all kind of things they can do. They can do many things. They didn't do it. The only things we receive is from the federal government, nothing from you guys. We got potential for patio outside, and that was great. But clearly right now we need help, and we don't need you just to shut down without give us a solution.
I think we're going to be okay. Do I think there should be one? Yes. You know, restaurants that are in business districts are having a harder go at it. We had to close a store in Chicago for that reason. So, you know, people need help. And I think that's all the questions you had. We're just going to keep doing our thing. We're about to open Campfire here. Pretty excited about that. And thanks for having me on the show.
All right, I just thought that was fascinating to go from each restaurant owner and really just see the types of restaurants that they have. You notice that the last one, talking about federal stimulus, if they needed that to be able to survive the winter, that it was lacking Chef Troy Gard's response. And as you just saw, Jared Leonard, who's very successful at fast casual, and he's opening a fine dining restaurant or a dining restaurant, a dine-in restaurant, right? And going from what he's very successful at to a seated restaurant is a very interesting endeavor. And you look at Troy Gard. Here's Troy's response when he asked me if I had everything he needed. I thought this was telling. I said, Chef, you didn't tell me if you would need a federal stimulus in order to survive the winter. His response was an email, and I'll share it with you. Obviously, everybody needs money because right now, most people are going into debt to stay open. But yes, some are doing well. Some are doing well with takeouts, but most people that I talk to are going into debt to stay open, which is ridiculous. That is what people are facing right now. They're looking at, you know, what's my bank statement going into the winter? How long am I going to be able to survive this with the money that I have? Because there's no federal stimulus relief in sight. You saw Chef Andrea Frizzi talk to you about, hey, listen, this isn't my fault. You're shutting me down. I'm going to need some help from you. If we're looking at a Garden Grace or a fine dining restaurant that Chef Troy Gard has to look at very deep and dig deep inside of them. Do I want to subsidize this restaurant and go into personal debt in hopes that we're going to come out on the other side? Those are the things that restaurant owners are facing right now. So when you talk about support is needed more than ever right now. And again, being cold outside, and you saw the different options, and Eric HYATT putting greenhouses in at ANGELO'S Taverna. But then you've got chefs like Troy Gard that say, listen, my food is not meant to do that. I don't want to walk it outside and into a greenhouse and in the cold months, and I'm not so sure that I would want to eat that way. That's his own personal opinion. So things are going to get really interesting right now as you're seeing a lot of leases up for renegotiation. Property taxes are not going down. They're increasing, and the margins are really getting slim. So we'll watch that one, and we'll keep you updated on how that's going to go. But it's getting interesting for restaurants right now. Please dig in. Help them however you can. Take out delivery. That's really the number one options right now, and they're working hard to do that. But I worry, Jay, about fine dining.
Yeah.
Fine dining.
I know.
What's going to happen with it?
I know.
We'll keep you posted on that. We're going to take a break, and we'll come right back to Studio Kitchen, Colorado. And again, happy Veterans Day. Thanks so much for all that you've done for us, still with us and or laid to rest. Your service to the country means the world. What else means the world is our local sponsors. You'll hear from our sponsors right now, and then we'll come back. We'll go in the kitchen, and the Real Dill, it is the Real Deal. They've probably heard every pickle joke in the world and probably made a couple too. Maybe they'll share some with us, Jay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll break away. Come right back to Studio Kitchen, Colorado. The Modern Eater Show continues.
Hey. What's going on, everybody? This is Brother Luck from Lucky Dumpling, 4x Brother Luck in Colorado Springs, and I am rocking with the Modern Eater. You're watching them, you're tasting them, you're knowing everything there is to know about Colorado.
Hi, Charlie from Brews Beers here. Our new Belgian Abbey 4-pack is a mixed package of the 4 core beers made in Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So we have a single, a double, a triple, and a quadruple in one package. Now, quadruples are the emperors of Belgian monastery ales. They're dark in color, with a dense tan head and alcohol ranging from 8 to 12%, so they're pretty strong. Quadruples are very rich and complex with big maltiness, spice, and flavors of raisins, cherries, and plums. Alcohol is apparent in the mouthfeel, but not overwhelming, even at 10.5% ABV. So the finish is long, complex, and dry, and they're great beers anytime, by themselves or with hearty foods. Pick up your Abbey 4-pack at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos, or at Colfax in York, and at fine liquor stores throughout the Denver metro area. Take home some Belgian-style badassery.
Hey guys, it's Brian Rizzuto with Encore Energy, the guy who saves your businesses money on natural gas. I know these are crazy, crazy times right now, so while your business is working on increasing your sales, let me work on saving you guys money on your natural gas. I make it as easy as possible. Just provide 12 months worth of natural gas bills to me. I'll do the rest. I know you're really busy, so let me get to work for you. You can reach me at 720-245-5771. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and let me try to save you some money in these crazy times. Bye.
You're watching The Modern Eater, and now back to the show.
I'm excited for this one, and welcome back to Studio Kitchen Colorado, a great Colorado company, and in the kitchen, brought to you by Elevation Food Service Reps. For all of your kitchen needs, please get a hold of our local company, Elevation Food Service Reps, and Rich O'Brien. Okay, the Real Dill here with us, and Tyler DuBois, one of the founders, here
That's
with
correct.
us.
Yes.
Thank you, brother, for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for having us.
And you brought Vincent Gallardo.
Yep.
How are you, Vincent?
Doing all right.
Good to see you. And you, well, we came up with a good name for him ahead, but you are the production ops
Yes.
at the Real Dill. So, guys, welcome. We're going to learn everything that we can possibly know about pickles in the next 10 minutes.
Can't wait to share.
You think we can do it?
I think we can. We can at least scratch the surface pretty hard.
First of all, we have to start with a pickle joke.
Oh, man.
What is the pickle that you, because they probably bounce off you at this point, right?
I'll be honest. I mean, most of these jokes are not safe for work.
Okay.
Meant for, long days of production only. So maybe we hold off on the pickle joke.
Really?
Let me think if I can come up with like
all right, we're trying to set you up for success.
PG
I'll
rated.
give you a kind of a short little story. The other founder, Justin, and I, we both have young kids, and we call them the Gherkins. And they've come into the kitchen before, and it was like a really hard day of work, and like they were just kind of sort of in the way. And one of the employees turned to me and he goes, "Yo, man, you got to get those gherkins working."
And did you?
Not yet. I just, child labor laws.
Well, hey, listen.
But it's only a matter of time.
It is a matter of time. Okay, first of all, a little bit of background. What are we looking at here? You've got a wide array, and a lot of people probably just know you for this, but now this is getting pretty popular too. Go down the line here.
Yeah, so we started as just a pickle company doing, cucumber pickles. We do these things the same way that your grandmother made them. It's a hot water process. It's a simple process. There's not, a lot of machinery. It's a really old school way of preserving food. And so these are our three main pickles. We've got the caraway garlic, habanero horseradish, and the jalapeno honey. And while making those pickles along the line, we had a byproduct from making them that was a cucumber water. And we were dumping it, and we were like, there's got to be something we can do with this. Mm-hmm. And so we came up with the Bloody Mary mix, just sort of like, well, let's try it. Who knows? If it goes somewhere, great. If not, at least we're diverting this waste. Well, now, I mean, this is the biggest part of our business by far. I mean, we're a Bloody Mary company with a pickle problem at this point.
I like it, and you can't. You have to have both, right?
I mean, they go hand in hand.
You can't buy this and not get this.
They go hand in hand. I mean, you know, people like to garnish their Bloody Marys with all kinds of things, from, you know, whole roasted chickens to just an olive.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it kind of depends what you want to do.
I understand.
But they do go hand in hand. I mean, you know, it's pretty common to get pickled vegetables when you order a Bloody Mary, and the flavors are very complementary.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made sense. It's a lot of the ingredients we're already using, and yeah, I mean, now we're truly a Bloody Mary company at this point.
If you didn't know, the 14th of this month is National Pickle Day. What was your response to that?
It is?
Your response
Every
was...
day's National Pickle Day.
Yeah, of course.
Live that life.
Put pickles in your portfolio. You want to have them, and listen, I am a customer. I buy your products, and I love the products, and I love supporting Colorado as well. But what got you into the business? Was there a pickle passion?
You know, I've always just found it kind of magical, the transformative nature of pickling. You're taking this incredibly, you know, delicate produce that would go bad if it sat in your fridge, and you're giving it this extended life and this personality. It's like you really are transforming it into something. And you know, I think a lot of people, I first was pickling with my grandmother when I was really young. That generation did this stuff all the time, you know. And before refrigeration, every family had a victory garden, and every family was canning their own vegetables and had their own family recipes. So although we don't use her recipes, you know, it was cool for me to take something I learned from her, bring it into kind of a more modern era, and give it a more culinary-inspired twist.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, basically, just your fear of not having food.
Right.
And no, that
it's
was
a fear
really,
that drives me every day.
That's what really drove our grandparents. I mean, they lived through the Depression. You didn't waste a damn thing.
Exactly.
And with that came these methods of pickling and jarring, and really, if that was a part of your yearly routine, which clearly sounds that it was, that you were able to transcend and turn that into a business.
Right. And, you know, I was coming from the restaurant industry. This was just kind of a side project passion that turned into, you know, ended up becoming a career for me, which is a really huge blessing. But
Can we bust some stuff open?
Let's bust some stuff open. What do you want to try?
Let's listen. I'm game, and you can just show me.
All right.
Should the pickle be stiff coming out of that jar?
Here, starting with the pickle jokes.
Not even a joke.
Yes, I mean it should be. A good pickle should have.
Crack something open here. Let's try it.
This is our best-selling pickle. So, why don't?
What do you have? I can help you.
Here you go. So this is our habanero horseradish.
Wouldn't that be funny if I couldn't open the jar?
That would be great.
I'd just be like, hey, can you help me? Yeah. All right, what do we have here?
So this is our habanero horseradish dills. You know, really a kind of a...
Grab a fork.
Just a spicy variant on a classic dill pickle. You know, we're using 0 ingredients that you wouldn't, you know, recognize from your own garden or pantry. It's just a really clean product. I mean, you know, we're using salt and vinegar to preserve these, as opposed to, you know, something you can't pronounce.
Let's get in there. Usually, with pickles, and if you're at home, right,
you
just get right in there and grab a pickle out of there. Now,
it may not be TV sexy to do that.
And this is, I think I'm probably going to approach it that way, because these are full.
Yeah. I mean, no one wants a quarter jar, but so we basically get produce from all over the place. Colorado's growing season is super short, so if we were only making pickles when Colorado farms were growing cucumbers, we'd only be able to make them for a couple months out of the year. So we're kind of chasing these seasons. Mm-hmm. And another, even though I don't have any here, we have a series called the Passport series.
Okay.
And it's 4 releases in a year, and each one is a globally inspired pickle. So this year, and you know, it could change year to year. Some of them will stay the same depending on popularity. But the first one we released was a Thai chili ginger. So a lot of Thai flavors. There was galangal root, lemongrass, you know. We did a spicy Caribbean, which is a pickle we've made a bunch before. We did an Ethiopian berbere spiced pickle that it was actually my favorite pickle in the series. And then our newest release, which is just getting released this week, is a Vindaloo curry spiced pickle.
Ooh, wow, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so kind of fun. Like I said, we really were kind of approaching this from a culinary angle. We weren't just trying to make a regular dill pickles, although after making a bunch of wacky pickles, the resounding call was, will you just make like one regular dill pickle? Mm-hmm. And so that's what this one is, our caraway garlic. It's definitely like, more kid-friendly, not as spicy, not too exotic.
Gotcha. Now, how about sandwiches? A lot of people, burgers, that type of thing. Are you doing any pickles that are cut that way?
No, for a while we did do chips, but like I think we prefer making spears. I like a 32-ounce jar of pickles too. It's a 32-ounce jar of chips is like a lot.
Gotcha.
For a while there, we had a few restaurants we were custom making those for. But just as time went on and we kind of grew and retail really became more of our focus, we sort of cut that back and don't really do it anymore. It's kind of a shame, but we're making more pickles because of it. So
people want to pickle at home as well.
Yeah, and they should. I mean, I've told so many people that it's like one of the least intimidating things to do in your own kitchen because it really is, especially if you're not pasteurizing, which there's no need to do when you're making them at home. It's simple, and if you have veggies that are, that you don't know what you're going to do with, or if you do have a garden, you have a bumper crop of something, and you're like, could I pickle that? Most likely the answer is yes.
Chances are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do we have going over here with Vincent?
So kind of along those lines, we wanted to pickle something today that is, probably something you haven't seen or seems a little out of the ordinary. With it being autumn, it's squash and pumpkin season. Everybody's got a few decorative gourds lying around the house that they're probably not going to do anything with.
Yeah, we got a fridge full of them right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Jay, we're about to start pickling, baby.
Do it. And so we thought we would do a pickled pumpkin. So this is we actually used a Kabocha Squash for this, but very similar texture and color to a pumpkin. And we wanted to keep it seasonal, so we made a brine. I've got it, in fact, let me heat it up over here.
Got a little brine going.
A little brine, and I'll just, kind of a little pickling 101.
Yeah, please. I'm going to switch spots with you.
Yeah. So there's several kinds of pickles. A fermented pickle is not what we do, but one of my favorite kinds of pickles. That's where you're using salt and, kind of a natural fermentation to create acid. Sorry about that. And so like your Jewish jelly dills, your half sours, those are all fermented. True sauerkraut, kimchi, another example of that.
Absolutely.
And these, a lot of people, the old timers would call putting up pickles, which are, something you can put in your pantry and let sit for a while. And they're perfectly
What was
safe.
the term again?
Putting up pickles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Putting up pickles.
Putting up pickles.
Got it.
Yeah. And so, that's what we do primarily. We use vinegar to acidify and make these vegetables safe. So I think a good rule of thumb, if you're making a brine at home to make your own pickles, equal parts water and 5% vinegar.
Got it.
5% vinegar is going to be what you mostly find at the grocery store.
Plenty.
Whether it's, just distilled white vinegar or apple cider. Most of them are...
probably going to have it at home.
You're probably going to have it at home.
Got
exactly. And then equal parts of that and water. That way you're going to ensure that you get a pH that's going to give you a safe product. You don't have to worry about
half and
making
half.
yourself sick. Exactly.
Okay.
And then from there, that's where you really can kind of do whatever you want.
Flavors.
Yeah. I mean, salt, sugar, both essential.
Yeah.
You can make pickles without sugar. We put sugar in ours. I just like the balance it brings. I think even if you're making a not sweet pickle, a little bit of sugar to counter that acid and that salt is going to just give you a balance and just give you a more rounded flavor.
Absolutely.
And then from there, any spice or herb that you can think of.
Roll with it.
Yeah, like for these, we used whole vanilla bean, star anise, clove, black pepper. We used gochugaru, which is a Korean chili flake. Just a little bit of dried sage. Anything that you think will taste nice and kind of go with what you're trying to pickle and give it, the flavor you want.
And play with it, right? I mean, there's really no right or wrong.
Exactly. There's no right.
I noticed that you label every batch.
Yeah. So we hand stamp every batch. We've been doing that since the beginning. I think, now that we're several hundred batches in.
Is that a quality thing, or can you go back and say, I really like the taste of this batch? Let's see how we put that together.
It makes it easier for us to track those batches. If there is, something that really is a standout about one batch, you'd go back and look at the production record and be like, well, was there anything that seems a little different? I also think when you see something that's hand stamped, it just says someone made this with their hands.
Yeah, artisan.
And that's what we do. We definitely want people to see that.
How long can these last on the shelf?
We recommend that they're eaten within a year, just for textural purposes. Safety-wise, I mean, you could eat them for quite a long time.
Vincent Gallardo over there, what are you up to?
Just cutting up some squash over here, looking like little cheese cubes and whatnot. How
you like that Element Knife Company knife?
That's pretty good. I really like the handle of it. Feels really good in my
balance.
hands. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elin, for letting us use your knives for sure. Okay, cutting these things, just cubing it, right?
Yeah. And, I think something to keep in mind when you're making pickles is, how hard of a vegetable it is, how much give and take water-wise.
Great point, yeah.
Like a cucumber or a watermelon rind.
It's going to take it in.
It's going to take in and then give out its own liquid.
Really? Okay, that makes sense.
There's that exchange of liquid. This isn't going to do that as much, so you probably want it a little smaller because you do want the brine to penetrate. So those are just the kind of things you keep in mind. Same with if you're doing green beans, you're going to want your brine really hot when you go over the top.
Get in on this because you can screenshot that if you want to. And this is just a simple recipe that you've put together.
Yeah, and that'll yield you about a half gallon of brine, which should give you 4 jars of whatever you want, 4 32-ounce jars.
I'll tell you what, and this truly is a great family thing to do together as well.
Yeah, if you like your family.
Or you can pickle your family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not sponsored content, but yes.
Real deal. Tyler, we're going through this whole thing. This is right here. This is cool. This is where you're adding the ingredients at this point. You throwing some cinnamon in there?
Yeah, so we've got a cinnamon stick. So all these spices that are right here in this cup are the spices that we made the brine with. So we strain those out so that we can kind of equally distribute them through the jars. And then, this is the brine back here. You were just going to pour this over. You basically want it boiling. And we'll get it nice and hot. You can kind of smell some of the vanilla. I mean, it has a little bit of that, milled cider-esque. It smells like fall.
I love it. As we're waiting for that and to pour it in there, the Real Dill does not only a great Colorado company, but does a lot of stuff for our community. I want to give you an opportunity to just talk about some of the great things that you've been doing for the community, and thank you for doing them as well.
Yeah, I mean, kind of what you were talking about earlier about not wasting, that's always been at one of the core principles of what we do.
Sure.
We're actually a zero food waste facility.
Fantastic.
All of our food scraps are composted. We actually now have a partner with the city of Denver, so that stuff's composted and then used in the parks and the playgrounds and the gardens that the city owns around around town. So it's cool to know that when we're wasting things, we're not wasting things. These are going towards something. And then along those lines, we have a nonprofit partner, the Grow House, who does a lot for food disparity in this city.
Sure.
They're based out of Elyria, Swansea, which is one of, if not the largest food desert in the country. And, their whole mission is to have secure, healthy food for everyone, that it should be a right. It seems like such a no-brainer.
Yeah, it amazes me. It's like we are in the United States of America, and there's still a lot of food-insecure families and people out there that my heart goes out to them as we just indulge in the best of the best every single day. To be able to participate in those types of initiatives are no-brainers for you.
Totally, and they've got all sorts of programs, including education for families to grow their own food. During this whole outbreak, they've been delivering food to all these families in need. So we recently, every year we throw this big party to raise money for them. This year, obviously, we couldn't do that, and so we threw a virtual fundraiser, and we agreed to match everything up to $10,000 that we made for them. And so we ended up raising over $20,000, which is amazing.
That is amazing.
It's more than we've ever been able to give them before, and it's in a time when they need it more than ever. And a lot of families need their assistance. So it's nice to, sure, we're just making pickles and Bloody Mary mix, but at the end of the day, when you can do something that also benefits the community that you're a part of, that's like really the reward.
I mean, and that's it. That's the mountaintop right there.
Right.
Well, how are you going to raise 20 again? That's the goal. It's like, how do we get that?
I better write some better pickle jokes.
That's right. Every dollar counts. And again, a wonderful company. I hope you guys are doing well right now. For distribution, you're in a lot of grocery stores. You even have national success as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. We have at least, a few locations in 43 states. So that's pretty amazing. I mean,
what's it like to be a millionaire?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough being
if you find one,
if you figure it
I
out.
would love to find out as well.
Hey, Vincent, could you do 45 more of those jars, please? Thank you.
Yeah,
there you go.
I actually got my crew in the back right now doing that.
That's the first step.
That's right. I'm on strike. Cool. Let's throw this together if you don't mind.
Let's do it. So once you have your vegetables kind of prepped, in our jars we really like to lay.
Yes, we needed that on cue too.
That's why I brought them. And it didn't even break. Amazing.
Maybe we do like these
Dang
shows.
it, try over. Do it again.
So we usually lay our ingredients kind of on the outside so you can see what's going to be giving the flavor of those pickles. This is pretty simple. We've just got this this brine, and like I said, we used apple cider vinegar for this. You could use distilled white vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is a better fit for a more fall-forward pickle, I think. Mm-hmm. So that's why we chose that. And then we're just going to pour this over. If you're doing this at home, this is the type of thing where once you pour it over, you cap it, let it sit overnight, let that really soak in, and then the next day move it to your fridge, let it sit for a couple weeks, and I think this is the perfect type of thing to put out on a relish tray for Thanksgiving.
I think you're right. I absolutely do. We'll be done by, what is it, the 14th.
Yeah.
It's national.
You gotta,
get on it right now
yeah.
as we're putting together stuff here in the kitchen. Just a great segment, learning about your company and the things that you've done. Obviously, you and your partner do great work, and Little Rich Snyder introduced us. Little Rich
has been kind of a mentor of ours.
You and me
he's
both.
always been there for great advice, and kind of like in some of the scarier moments of starting a company, he's always the type of guy that's like, "You're doing great. Just keep doing it."
Yeah.
And he's always given us good advice, and we definitely look up to him, and now my kids look up to him because they see him on Sesame Street. So.
I know. And
he's a hero to all.
If he was here, he would make some joke about looking up to him.
Well,
say, you look down to me. I know you do.
Yeah, totally.
Little Rich, you're the best. We love you, my friend. Vincent, great job. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here. Tyler, as well.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out. I know you're familiar with this company, but support local. And these are the small things that you do as you're going into the grocery store and you're making your decisions and you're purchasing. This is how you can help the community. And you see that trickle-down effect all the way to some of those nonprofits and food insecurity as well. Can't thank you enough, gentlemen, for being here for our In the Kitchen segment.
Oh, it was awesome. Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about cider next. Our Booze in the News segment's coming up. I'm very happy about this. This is a centennial farm, 100 years. That's big stuff. Talbott Farms is here with us today. Joe Talbott, one of the family members, is going to join us as we talk about cider. That's coming up next right here on the Modern Eater Show. I love the laugh.
You ready? Like right now?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. It's Kyle Mendenhall. I'm talking with my good friends from the Modern Eater Show. Keep supporting them. There's a lot of good stuff happening.
We started Meridian Spirits because we love the way that spirits and cocktails can bring people together to socialize, to bond, to have conversations. Well, right now we've got some big conversations to have. Coop Vodka and Coop Gin are available at liquor stores across the metro area, but if you can't find us or would like to have us behind your bar or at your restaurant, send us an email, info@meridianspirits.com. We know things are a little different these days, but think of us the next time you're planning a virtual happy hour or a socially distant picnic. And keep an eye on our social media, Coop by Meridian, for all the latest and greatest.
Hey guys, it's Caroline Glover. I'm the chef owner of Annette out at Stanley Marketplace. Citrus is about to be in its prime. I just want to thank everybody for showing so much support to small local restaurants in this really hard time. And you're watching the Modern Eater Show. I'm fine with that.
Hi, I'm Amber with Strohauer Farms, and I'm just here to remind you that the best potatoes are grown here in Colorado. Goodness elevated. Thanks for watching the Modern Eater Show.
Hey, Zach Ryder here, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products out of Lamar, Colorado. Your only local source, grown from a local crop to produce a local oil for local chefs. You can find it at Shamrock Foods, What Chefs Want, Seattle Fish Company. Let me try it one more time, then we'll see. Hey, restaurants, we're glad you're reopening. From Colorado Mills Sunflower Oil, we'll see you soon.
First, we partner with the best farmers in the world, and then we tell them, we will take it all. Process whole spices daily, blend custom spices to order, keep it fresh, safe, and flavorful, all so that you can get back to doing what you do best. So whether you're a restaurant, a food manufacturer, or an at-home cook, be sure to visit The Spice Guy at www.thespiceguyco.com.
Hey Modern Eater fans, I'm Don Trobo with the Annex by Ardent Mills, and I just wanted to give you a heads up about some of the great things we've got going on locally in the state. We're headquartered right here, and we're working with farmers in the San Luis Valley to bring you amazing Colorado quinoa. It's just like the South American stuff, but grown locally. We've got transitional wheat flour that's grown by farmers in Colorado and surrounding states who are in the process of turning their fields into organic. So we're taking that transitional wheat and turning it into flour, and now it's available for you to cook and bake with. And last but not least, we're now cleaning grain berries in Denver. So things like spelt or wheat berries or pearled barley, those are things that we're now doing right here locally and are available to you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Nations from Aspen Baking Company. It's really important right now to support local. That's why I support the Modern Eater. Now, back to the show.
Parker, thanks for joining us in Studio Kitchen, Colorado, and Booze in the News. We'll do all the booze news you can use in just a minute with Joe Talbott, but right now I got to tell you about Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. What does he do? He installs the tap lines of your dreams. He's the most trusted man in the business. 20 years he's been doing this, and he's a family man, a family-owned and operated business. It's Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. Places. Have you been, Joe? Have you been to Punch Bowl Social?
Of course.
Have you been up to the Monarch Casino? Maybe not yet. Oh, this will be a treat for you. Tap 14?
Yes.
All
absolutely.
those tap lines he's building out, I mean, luxurious. 100 tap lines, that takes a lot of artistry. If you go down to Beast and Brews in Colorado Springs, have you been there yet? It's a self-serve one, man.
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's a cool one. You got to check that out, too. We got to get Talbot down there.
Well, we got in a Punch Bowl, so Colorado Springs is next.
Jeff Rourke, he wants to do maintenance as well. You got to maintain your tap lines because brewers want their beer to taste like it tastes out of their tap room. Because if you're pouring inefficient beer, what are you doing, Jay?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
Please don't pour your money down the drain. Just get a hold of Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. Here's the phone number. How's your memory?
Oh.
Not too good? Might want to write it down. 720-272-3809. One more time.
I got it.
You better remember this. 720-272-3809. It's Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. Can you pour cider out of a tap?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
No, why not?
Out of cider. Do you sell cakes?
Yes, sir.
You do?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, you got to add a line so you can get a hold of this gentleman. Joe Talbot, good to see you.
Good
Thanks
seeing
for coming down with the cider.
Glad to be here.
That's fantastic. Charles, we miss you. We'll see you soon as well. But let's talk about it. Here it is, a Centennial Farm in Palisade, Colorado. We've had the pleasure to go down and visit you in your own digs. Look at your, what's it, cider room? What was it when you pour cider? Is it a tap room?
It's a tap room.
Tasting room?
The cidery is where we make it. The
Yep.
tap room's where we pour it, and the whole thing's a farm.
All right, it was all a blur for me. And then I slept out in the orchard.
In the orchard.
Okay, cool. Where do we begin with this? Again, 100-year farm, Colorado. You guys do what there? Not just cider, yeah.
Yeah. So we started back in 1907. Long story short, we've always been farmers. So we were a 100% apple farm about 6 generations ago. And then in the 80s, we started converting a lot of our apples over to peaches. And then we started making apple juice. Sadly, it became more profitable to make juice out of our apples than it was to sell them as whole apples. So we started doing that. With that, in the 90s, we started doing wine grapes, farming them as well. With that, today, we are Colorado's biggest and largest producing peach farm, as well as wine grape farm.
That is, I mean, listen, don't just brush past that. That's not easy. And just think, I'm thinking back, what did you say, 1907?
Yes, sir.
That was nutty to say, like, okay, let's put an orchard here in Palisade, Colorado. It wasn't the most conducive to growing, and it took many, many years to figure out how you really got that down to a science.
Yeah.
So that was pretty brazen. What was the old man's name when they first settled into Palisade, Colorado? You better know your
original
great-grandfather's name.
Great.
Okay.
Great-grandfather was Jaeger. His first name was Jaeger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's taste some ciders here.
Okay.
So your cider line has a variety of, and one of the things that I really appreciated about the tasting room in Palisade is you go in there, and obviously all of your even the one-offs you can taste as well, some of the small batch stuff. But you go into a fridge there, and to go with cans, you guys have decided we're going to not only sell ours, but we're going to support Colorado as well. You have other cider companies inside of your coolers that you sell as well. That's just amazing.
Absolutely.
How you guys sell and support Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts back with the farm. You got to get your water first. The only way to make the trees. Once you get the trees, you got to make your own cider. And we're not the only ones doing a good job at it. A lot of people in Colorado are trying very hard to make quality craft ciders. Obviously, we are the best, but there's a lot out there that are doing a fantastic job, and everyone has their own craft with it.
Yeah.
So we like to support other Colorado craft cideries saying, this is our craft. Go look at what some of the other guys are doing as well.
Okay, so Joe, your job is to do what? You are
I'm a sales manager in the state of Colorado.
So this is what he does right here. I am Mr. Bar manager. And you're going to sit down with me, and taste it. So you're going to taste me on these right now. Do your routine on how you would present to me these delicious ciders.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank
so first and foremost, as we want to be a craft hard cidery, we refuse to use any concentrates or added sugar into our products. The apple speaks for itself. There's no reason to add a bunch of artificial and flavorings and sugars and different things like that. With that, we always start with the dry. If you want to judge any craft cidery on their quality, you start with their dry. The reason for that...
Oops.
No worries.
All right,
we'll get to that one.
All right.
You start with the dry as...
Palate thing, right?
You don't... Palate, yes, but also there's no other fruits in this. There's no other additives. There's no other spices or peppers or anything. It's simply the cider we produce. With that, our dry is... Well, all of our ciders are going to be gluten-free. We're going to be lower calorie, 0 added sugar. This one is 0 natural sugar.
Okay. Grab glasses, boys. Come on over here. We're going to do a tasting.
We'll ferment
right
100% of the sugar out of our scrappy apple, making it keto-friendly, gluten-free, and lower calorie, no sugar. So, cider you can pour like you could never pour beer. It's one fun thing about it.
Yeah, all right. This is what I would do. Get the whole staff together, right? Let's talk it out, Joe. All right. So we've got some ciders poured here. All right, gents.
So with this, what's going to make my dry cider different than other people's dry cider is A, your foundation, the apples you use. B, you're going to use different yeast structures. C, your filtration process, how well you handle your product. And lastly, your finish.
The dry, starting with the
So
dry.
this one,
Great
yes,
idea.
this one we're really trying to emulate a Sauv Blanc or champagne style. Very light, very crisp.
Starts and finishes the same way, right? This isn't very complex. This is very straightforward, and you're getting exactly what it is. I can really appreciate this one, too. This is, I would say this would be my go-to right here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
This
see.
one has
We got
very
time.
loyal following. So your malic acid is going to be slightly higher. You are going to get a little bit of that crunch that you'll get in like a Granny Smith, like a sour apple.
Wow, that's a good one, isn't it? All right, hit me.
You were quick. All right.
Well,
we're slamming them, boys.
We've got 4 to go through here.
Fair enough. I'm going to pour a little less on the next one.
Okay, well, I mean, maybe for you.
I can
I'm
do that.
okay right now.
I can do that. All right, we'll put this one back here. Next, we're going to go with our semi-sweet. A lot of people ask, since we don't add sugar, how do we make one cider sweeter than the other?
You said you were going to be shy. You're like killing this. You love every second of this right now. I can tell.
Thank you.
I like this.
With our semi-sweet, what we'll do is we are going to have a different process, but the main thing that we're going to do is add apple juice after the fermentation to raise that natural sugar content.
But no sugar added to the apple juice.
Exactly.
So you're giving it a little pop, but your own pop with your own apples.
Exactly.
Got
Fruit is sweet enough. We really don't need sugar.
Do you force carbonate?
We force carbonate, yes.
Yeah. Which I'm a bubble guy. I want those bubbles going, you know.
We do have one product that we do a small batch with.
Is it barrel aged?
It is not. It's our Coyote Sidra, and we're going to use the Spanish Spain style of making cider in which we will not force carbonate. All of our other products will be force carbonated.
Gotcha. Love it. All right, dig in. Here we go.
So this one will be more of an modern American pub cider. Very sessionable, very light, a little bit of that residual sweetness, easy drinking.
When I approach a spirit or a beer, generally I go for the nose first. Any sense to do that with a cider? Are you going to get anything from the nose notes with that? You can't smell anymore,
Absolutely.
can you? Can you smell?
You can't ask the guy pickling cucumbers to smell.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, just like any, the thing about cider is it's going to be very similar to the same process as making wine. You're going to get those subtle notes. The more you drink cider, the more you understand what you're looking for. You'll find.
So you're measuring the bricks. You're doing all of those things during the process of cider
Absolutely.
making. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So very similar to how wine is made, right?
It's
just using a
almost-
different fruit.
Exactly. It's almost the exact same process.
There you go. This is delicious too. I don't know where to go with that one because this one's right there with that one, and the consistency, right? Speaking of consistency, as we were talking consistency with Tyler and Vincent with the pickles, and they put the batches on there. It's very important with larger production that consistency is something that you guys do, and when we walk the facility, you can see why. But some of the things that you can do to ensure the consistency of the taste of your product.
Some of the things we can do.
Yeah.
Main thing is, like I said, it starts with the apple.
Yeah.
You know.
Will that flavor taste just like wine grapes throughout the years? Can you put a vintage on that?
You really can. We do a blend, and we try to get a consistent sugar brick level, and we try to make it the same year after year after year. Once you start going into varietal specifically, and especially some traditional old style apples, that's when your vintage is really going to come into play. Most of your craft cideries today are going to make steps to have a consistent tasting product.
That's a delicious one. Let's move on down the road here.
All right.
You like that
Thank
one?
you.
Yeah.
So next, we're going to go with our...
If you have questions, fire them off, and just make sure you bring that microphone right up to you. Do you have any questions so far, Tyler?
No, I mean, this is... I always hate when I get a cider that's incredibly sweet, and just tasting this and knowing that it was just apple juice added makes it real clear that there's a difference when people are adding sugars versus, a post-fermentation juice add. And it's like really delicious.
Thank you. Yeah, it was our one of our number one complaints was cider's too sweet. And we said, why is that the case? And in our opinion, you're masking flavor by adding unnecessary sweetness.
Yeah. You're hiding your sorry flim-flam apples.
Exactly.
From wherever they
Flim-flam, I like it.
Flim-flam. I don't even know where I came up with that.
All right. Next is our Rafter IPC.
Thank you, sir.
This is going to be a hopped cider. We will get 5 different types of hops.
Now I'm excited for this one.
Usually out of New Zealand. And the reason for that,
Smell that hop.
is we want to...
Better be a good reason.
Well, New Zealand's famous for having a very citrus, floral front hop profile in a majority of their hops. They, you go to the International Brewers Association, and a lot of people are pulling hops out of New Zealand because they know how to grow them. They do a good job, and they consistently produce good products.
Man, so right off the top of this thing, right, you're getting that hops. It has a great nose to it. Jared, are you jealous yet? You're not jealous yet? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, I think that's what we're starting to uncover as we go down the line of these, is that they're very just methodically done, very well balanced. Of the flavors consistent and just not really throwing any surprises at you. A lot of people try and get a little too fancy. This is going to be our pumpkin spice hopped dried IPA. It's like, okay, whatever, but it doesn't taste very good. This tastes delicious.
Thank you. Well, and you're seeing what we do statewide. Some of the stuff we do in-house, small batch, 1 keg, 5 gallons, we have some silly fun.
Yeah.
So, but our main line of products, yeah.
Yeah, let's keep going.
All right. I got to slam it again.
You're doing all the talking. I'm doing all the drinking.
Fair enough. All right. So, again, we're going to actually wait till the Alpine winter lasts.
Oh, wait, and you got to get ready because on the 18th, did you know it? National Cider Day.
I did know it.
It's coming right up.
Yeah, so drink a lot of cider, guys.
That's our thing. We'll talk about where you can find it, but that's what we're going to encourage you to do. Is everybody in their fridge wants you to have some Talbott Farm cider.
Well, and here's the deal: if you get our Scrappy Apple dry cider, it's very light, bubbly, and you pair that with the Real Dill's pickles, it's going to be vinegar. It's going to be a little sour. They go hand in hand.
Ooh.
Love it.
What's wrong? We can do that.
Well, and it is. It's like cider season, though. Like, wouldn't you say that, like, traditionally the fall is a time that invokes? I mean, I think especially with ciders that are this crisp and bright, you could drink this, in really hot weather and just session it all day. But I mean, for me, when the when the leaves fall and it starts to get a little colder,
you turn to a cider.
Yeah, I want a cider.
And this is fantastic. Okay, what are we jumping into now, my friend?
Okay, so this is our Calamosa. The Calamosa, how it was born was we had some late nights in the tap room, and we'd have to get up to work early on a Sunday, on a Saturday, on the weekend. We all wanted to be home, and so we had different juices, milk, things just for our employees at our facility, and we allowed everyone on Sunday. We're gonna have a slow work day. Why don't we get everyone has one cider? We'll slowly get to work. We had one employee who always brought orange juice, and she would add our dry and make a cider mimosa. And she slowly got all of us into it, and we said, let's go get some fresh orange juice, get a dry style of cider, and why don't we pre-made a cider mimosa.
You can this?
We can this.
This is fantastic.
I got a question. The clarity on this is incredible. Do you guys run the juice through the same filtration you do your apple juice?
Absolutely.
Because it tastes just like you would expect the orange juice to taste, but then you look at it, there's absolutely no pulp. There's no it's completely clear.
So you can get away with not adding a lot.
Are you putting Tang in there?
No. But you can get away with not adding a lot of preservatives and some different things if you bring your cider to sterile filtration. As we don't want the artificial, the different flavorings and additives or preservatives in the cider, we rather filter it to such a small micron that bacteria can't go through, and then you don't have to worry about adding those.
So delicious.
You need that.
And that's why you will see it is usually this clear. The second reason for that is a lot of companies like to add caramel coloring to their ciders to give it an attractive hue. And once again, we're not going to do that.
Good for you guys. Just great. Did we try them all?
Nope, we got one more.
One more. All
Got that one that you opened
Yeah,
first.
lay it on me. Yeah, the last one. Of course, I opened it first.
So, funny you brought up fall and why naturally you just feel like drinking cider this time of year. Historically, apples come off the tree towards the beginning of fall, and that's why there's a culture that's bred around this time of year. There's something about it. I want some cider. This one, when we were growing up as kids, we had hot crock pot cider.
Okay.
You
Sure,
know what I'm talking about?
Like a
you
mold
get
cider
apple juice.
kinda?
Yeah.
You heat it up and you add some spices. We had that every year. We looked forward to it since I was 5 years old. Once we started producing hard cider, we said, is there any way we can make this into part of our line? And this is what we came up with. We went to Savory Spice Company, which I believe the Real Dill uses as well.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Fantastic company. And we stole cinnamon, cardamom, clove, and ginger from them. We got those 4 spices. We figure they're very Christmassy, very this time of year, it's just a comfort. And we dry steeped those spices into our cider for a couple of days.
Hit me.
Alpine Winter was born.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hit me. Yeah.
What is the process of dry steeping? Is it you're doing it obviously not at a hot temperature, so you're getting probably more subtle notes from those spices?
More subtle notes. You need more potent spices. And for the most part, it is a giant mesh bag, and you drop it in like you would with tea. And you just let it sit on it.
So let's give it a hit.
With our hop cider, we'll actually bring 250 gallons or so up to a higher temperature and extract more of those hop flavors.
Tyler, wait till you taste
With these spices, you can let it kind of just sit on it.
Yeah, tastes like the holidays in my mouth right now.
So this is our Christmas cider.
That's it.
Should have made the brine with this.
This is fantastic. Could you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually, but I'd probably rather drink it.
Wow. I'm just wondering if
We got enough for both.
might be a collab in the works here. I don't know.
I like it.
Maybe something like that could happen for next year.
Very
When
happy
we're
to do
free.
Right.
When we can celebrate and hug each other and pour cider.
I got the name if they made something together.
What would it be?
It'd be oh man, it just fell out of my head. It was something. It was the dill pickle tickle.
The what?
The dill pickle tickle.
Work on that one.
Okay, the pickle dill tickle.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Not too easy, though. I don't know. Okay, so you're a bar manager or restaurant owner, and you sit there and you heard that pitch and sits down. What do you think, Tyler?
I mean, there's certainly no reason you wouldn't want to pick up a bunch of this line. The cider mosa, what is it called? The Calamosa?
Calamosa,
Yeah,
Colorado's mimosa.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise to me. I'm a pretty avid cider drinker. In fact, the first alcoholic beverage I ever had is I stole a cider from my parents when I was like 8. So I think it holds a place in my
28.
heart.
He meant 28.
28.
Yeah,
No,
once
8.
again, we don't.
No, man.
We don't endorse underage
I was
drinking.
8.
I'm
Yeah.
old enough now. I can,
can-
be like, there's a
that's right.
statute of limitations
That's right.
on this stuff. But like, I love cider and I drank a lot of it, and that was just really surprising to me. Like, because it tasted exactly as it's advertised, but the crispness, it's not pulpy or like overly juicy. It was really, really delicious. That was just a huge surprise, but everything's been incredibly delicious, and none of them, even the ones where you're adding juice for sweetness, none of them are cloying or like overly sweet on the palate.
Yeah, you're not over trying for any of these. For me, I mean, I guess how I would start is just say, what are the 2 most unique ones that I haven't filled a category with, and these would stand out for me right off the bat. I'd say I need these right away. These I'd ease into, and again, a lot of other cider options that you have there, but I think you wouldn't go wrong if you just had this full array.
Yeah, I mean, the Scrappy, that's one that I would keep out in the garage fridge like at all times. Like, I got to make sure there's at least 6 in there ready to go whenever. But yeah, all incredibly delicious, man. Well job.
Great job, man.
Well done.
It's just well job. See?
Well job. How many ciders did we taste?
Not many, not many. We'll drink the rest of these, though. We've got a couple of giveaways that we're going to bring at you as well. Look for us on the Modern Eater Facebook pages. We do a couple of giveaways with some hats, just a great Colorado company. These are the folks that you want to support, but I've got to thank you. I'd say good luck, but continued success, my friend.
Thank you.
And that's Joe Talbott.
You guys as well.
Okay, Talbott Farms. Get these. Talbott Cider line. It's fantastic. Where can folks find these?
We have a store locator at talbotciderco.com. Don't forget the S on the end of Talbot's. And but store locator, type in your zip code, type in your address, and it will show you the closest available liquor store. And liquor store is one of those guys. Once again, small businesses really need the support.
Yeah,
So,
and end user, that's for you, but then also a bar manager, restaurant owner. If you saw this here today, you'd like for this young man to come taste you on these delicious ciders, he'd be happy to. And you can reach out to Joe how?
easiest way, email Joe, J-O-E, at talbotciderco.com.
Get out your phone number.
And 970-361-8741.
Call him at 2 a.m. I dare you.
I'll answer.
He will answer. I got to tell you, continued success, my friends. Say hello to all of the family. Just a great family and a great Colorado company. That's it. We're going to break away, come back, put a wrap on this baby, wrap it up. But we can tell you that on Friday we have a great remote that we're going to be doing. Where's that going to be? You're going to have to stick around to find out when we get back to Studio Kitchen, Colorado on the Modern Eater Show.
Hey, you guys, Jay here with the Modern Eater Show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget about our YouTube and Instagram channels. A lot of killer content over there. Throw us a subscribe on YouTube. Throw us a follow on Instagram. And thank you for supporting TME. We couldn't do this without our amazing sponsors, so let's check them out right now.
Come on. You know, we got that great facility over in Park Hill that we want people to come over, try things out. Yeah, and it's been wonderful. And so there's a lot of times where people will come to us. Justin Brunson, a great example. I was over at River Bear yesterday, and I said to him, just give me your dream.
Yeah.
You know, tell my organization what it is you want your dream to be and how you want to get there, and then we'll figure out how to get you there, okay? Because there really isn't anything that can't be done realistically. You know, you talk about Canberra, we talk about all the Middleby brands, whether it's, Pitco, Blodgett, Turbo Chef, these are best in class brands. Glass Tender, we were just talking about earlier, Wonder Bar, Steel Light, Dexter, American Metalcraft, you just go on down the line. We have best in class brands. And because of that, we're able to really answer anybody's need. And that's why I always tell everybody, tell me what your dream is.
Okay, welcome back to Studio Kitchen, Colorado, as we put a bow on this one. I really enjoyed today's show as we had two great Colorado companies here with us. Real Dill was pretty cool, right?
Absolutely.
And
Best pickles in town.
Got to get that in your fridge right away. And those spears, it was funny because I said Tyler was like, you would pick the limpest one out of the bat, and I murdered it there. You pull those out, they're crisp and delicious, the Real Dill and the Bloody Mary mix as well. What's the Bloody Mary mix called?
Bloody Mary mix.
The Bloody Mary mix. Look for it. You'll be able to find it. And that's at your local grocers as well, isn't it, Tyler?
Yeah, a lot of small, a lot of liquor stores too.
Yeah. And check that out. We got to thank the Real Dill for being here, and Tyler DuBois and Vincent Gallardo joining us here in studio. Can't thank them enough, as National Pickle Day is coming up just on the 14th. So be ready for that. Your cider is delicious.
Thank you.
It's just so good. Get this. We need to have this Colorado company. If you are a Colorado business, buy this product and put it there. I don't think this will sit in your cooler at all. It will sell. And then you sell kegs of it as well, right?
He took his microphone off, so...
he took his microphone off. That's okay.
Yeah.
Half barrels he sells. You can get a hold of him. On Friday's show, we told you we're going to do something cool. We'll be on remote. It's a place called Nurture. And Nurture is what are they called? A
well care marketplace.
A well care marketplace. It is just that. If you love the alternative, if you don't treat the symptom, be preventive. Be preventive with your health and preventive medicine. Lots of cool stuff there, but we're going to learn all about it. So we'll be joined with the ladies Elizabeth and Kelly from Nurture. I think we're going to broadcast from their restaurant inside of Nurture called Nest.
It's going to be a good show.
It is Friday.
A healthy show.
That's what you'll want to tune in for there. Thanks in the kitchen. Our friend Jared's here with us as well. And for Jay Parker, I'm Greg Hollenbach, the whole cast and crew. We can't thank you enough. Run around this corner here. There's a dish. Grab that dish around this corner here on that table, if you would. You see it there? Yeah, yesterday. It was such an honor. Colorado Restaurant Association, their Signature Dish Award, and great media professional. I don't know how professionally we are or how great we are, but we got a great award from Colorado Restaurant Association. Can't thank them enough for recognizing us. We can't do it without the whole team, and that's Little Rich Schneider, Brian Freeman, Faith Johnson, Jay Parker, and myself, Greg Hollenbach. We'll sign off from Studio Kitchen, Colorado, and we'll see you on the road come Friday. Join us at 2 p.m. Friday. The Modern Eater Show continues.